Hi everyone, I'm Marcy, and today I'm making New Mexico style sopaipillas. They're yummy, hot little pillows of fried dough that you can have with honey or cinnamon sugar or powdered sugar, and they're just wonderful. Now, typically, if you had them at a restaurant, they bring them to you at the end of your meal, and it's always a treat. Definitely not something that you would eat every day. So as we head into the holidays, it's just the perfect treat that you can make for your family. First, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Doesn't cost you a thing, but it helps others find me. And let's get cooking. Before we start, we've got to talk pronunciation. I call them sopaipillas. Others will call them sopapillas. And really, it doesn't matter. It just depends on where you live. I grew up in southern New Mexico, and there we all pronounce them sopaipillas with the A and the I. But they're delicious by any name. And best of all, you make them with ingredients that you already have on hand. Here's what you'll need. 2 cups sifted flour, 3/4 teaspoon salt, 2 teaspoons baking powder, 1 teaspoon sugar, 1 tablespoon fat. Now, traditionally, they would use lard. I'm using shortening today, but you can also use vegetable oil. And then enough warm milk or water to make your dough. I've got a cup here, but I may or may not use it all. You kind of have to go by feel. And again, you want this to be warm. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I'm going to combine all the dry ingredients. I've already got my sifted flour, so I'm adding the salt, baking powder, and sugar, and just whisking it all together. Next, I'll add in the shortening, and I'm going to combine it with a fork until I've got sort of a crumbly consistency. Now I'll start adding in the warm water a little at a time, and I'm going to mix it together with my hands until I can knead it. I accidentally put a little too much water. I think I used about 3/4 of a cup, and my dough is too sticky, so I'm going to put just a little more flour in it. Much better. This is what it should look like. It should be soft and pliable. So now I'm going to take the dough and cut it into smaller pieces and make testales, similar to what you would do when making tortillas. They're just round dough balls that you can later roll out with a rolling pin. For now, I'm just placing them back in the bowl, and when they're all made, I'm going to cover them with a clean dish towel and let the dough rest for 20 minutes. Now I'm going to get a large pan going over medium-high heat, and I'm going to place enough cooking oil in it so that we can deep fry our sopaipillas. Couple of things to keep in mind. You have to have plenty of oil, and it has to be hot. If you drop in a piece of dough before it's hot, it will sink to the bottom. When the oil is hot, we can start rolling out our dough. I lightly flour my surface, place my testal on it, and then from the halfway point, I roll up and then down, and then rotate it and keep doing the same. When it's about this thick, and that's probably about 1/8 of an inch, it should be good to go. You just cut it into fourths, and then one at a time, dip them into the hot oil. You want them to be a beautiful golden brown, and it doesn't take long at all, so turn it over fairly quickly. Then let it cook on the other side. Take it out of the frying pan and let any excess oil drain, and that's pretty much it. Whenever I think of sopaipillas, 2 restaurants come to mind. One of them is La Posta in Old Mesilla. Every time I go home, I've got to go there because I love their sopaipillas. They're just so good. And then the other place was a restaurant that we would go to when I was a kid. It was called Pancho's Mexican Buffet, and they had them in El Paso and Las Cruces. And at each table, they would have this little Mexican flagpole, and you could raise the flag anytime you wanted something. And so you can imagine as a kid how we would abuse that. We were constantly raising that flag because we wanted more sopaipillas, and they would bring them to you nice and hot. They were so good. Anyway, I'm gonna finish making these, and then I'll show you how we eat them.
You always want to serve sopaipillas when they're hot, and you can dip them in cinnamon sugar, just like this, or you sprinkle a little powdered sugar on them, like that. Or my favorite way is just plain old honey. And what I like to do is I bite off the corner and then I pour it in. I'm gonna try this. They're so good. Takes me back to my childhood, seriously. They're delicious. They're just soft and puffy and yummy. And the thing about sopaipillas is they're actually very versatile. If you wanted to, you didn't have to make them sweet. You can put meat or refried beans and cheese. They're just wonderful. I really hope you try them.
Thanks so much for checking out this video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You can also follow me at Marcy Inspired on Instagram and Facebook. Until next time, blessings from my kitchen to yours.